Okay, so today we'll be discussing preparation of insoluble salt. So an insoluble salt, an insoluble salt is a salt that does not dissolve, in water. So an insoluble salt is a salt that does not dissolve in water. And how do you prepare this insoluble salt? So we can use lead 2 chloride as an example. So lead 2 chloride is an example of an insoluble salt. Lead 2 chloride is an example of insoluble salt. And how do you prepare this lead chloride? So lead 2 chloride or just any other insoluble salt, you can say an insoluble salt is prepared by precipitation of double decomposition of 2 soluble salts that contains the ion of the insoluble salt. So we are saying that an insoluble salt can be prepared by precipitation of double decomposition of 2 soluble salts that contain the ion of the insoluble salt. So in short, if you want to prepare lead 2 chloride, which is an insoluble salt, we should look for 2 soluble salts that contain the ion of lead 2 chloride. So in this case, we are saying that since we are using lead 2 chloride as an example, we can say that lead 2 chloride can be prepared by reacting lead to nitrate. It can be prepared by reacting lead to nitrate and the sodium chloride. So these are soluble salts. That contain the ion of the insoluble salt that you want to prepare. So the chemical equation, how does it look like? We're going to have lead to nitrate and react it with sodium chloride, and they are both in aqueous state since they are soluble salt, which will give us this, and this will combine chemically to give us lead 2 chloride, and then sodium and nitrate to give us sodium nitrate. So this one is in solid state to show that this is an insoluble salt, and this one is in aqueous state to show that this is a soluble salt. So that is how the reaction takes place. And This is how you can explain the preparation of an insoluble salt. So the procedure of the chemical reaction, procedure of the experiment, or rather let's say the method of how you're going to perform this in the lab. Number one, we are saying that mix lead to nitrate solution with sodium chloride, Then from there we are saying that what will happen is that a white precipitate will be formed. So this white precipitate, it is now the lead to chloride. A white precipitate will be formed, which is lead to chloride, which is the insoluble salt. Then from there, since we have got two salts here, we've got lead to chloride and sodium nitrate. We're going to filter off the precipitate. Filter off the precipitate. To separate the soluble salt from the insoluble salt. Then from there, since we have got the insoluble salt, you can say the insoluble salt is then washed using distilled water, and dried on a petri dish. So this is how we can fully explain the preparation of insoluble salt, such as lead to chloride.